Hi, welcome back. Or if you're just joining, my name is Maya, and welcome to my channel, Cranleyplace, where I'm posting content on scarf style, knot tutorials, and more. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to be notified of new videos, which I'm publishing weekly. It is Thanksgiving weekend. In this video, I'll take a look at some of the background of this holiday, a few fun facts, and some collectible Hermès scarves aligned with these themes. Let's get started. Thanksgiving may be one of America's most beloved national holidays, but its history is all over the place. Even the details of the most famous feast between the Plymouth colony settlers and the Wampanoag Native Americans in November of 1621 are sketchy. The best account we have is a letter from an English settler named Edward Winslow that never mentions the word Thanksgiving, but tells of a week-long harvest celebration that included a 3-day feast with Chief Massasoit and 90-some Wampanoag men, so, quote, we might after a more special manner rejoice together, end quote. This autumn harvest feast in 1621 in Plymouth, Massachusetts, is widely acknowledged as one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations, but some historians argue that Florida, not Massachusetts, may have been the true site of the first Thanksgiving in North America. In 1565, nearly 60 years before Plymouth, a Spanish fleet came ashore and planted a cross in the sandy beach to christen the new settlement of St. Augustine. To celebrate the arrival and give thanks for God's providence, the 800 Spanish settlers shared a festive meal with a native Timucuan people. The Thanksgiving meal in Plymouth, however, probably had little in common with today's traditional holiday spread. Although turkeys were indigenous, there's no record of a big roasted bird at the feast. The Wampanoag brought deer, and there would have been lots of local seafood, like mussels, lobster, and fish, plus the fruits of the first pilgrim harvest, including pumpkin. No mashed potatoes, though. Potatoes had only recently spread to Europe from South America. America first called for a national day of Thanksgiving to celebrate victory over the British in the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. In 1789, George Washington again called for a National Day of Thanks on the last Thursday of November to commemorate the end of the Revolutionary War and the ratification of the Constitution. And during the Civil War, both the Confederacy and the Union issued Thanksgiving Day proclamations following major victories. Thomas Jefferson was famously the only founding father and early president who refused to declare days of Thanksgiving and fasting in the United States. Unlike his political rivals, the Federalists, Jefferson believed in, quote, a wall of separation between church and state, end quote, and that endorsing such celebrations as president would amount to state-sponsored religious worship. And now for some Hermès scarves. These first few that I've chosen are based on the proteins that were actually served at the Plymouth Thanksgiving celebration. This first scarf representing venison, deer in this case, is by an artist named Xavier de Poret, who was a famous and accomplished artist especially known for his animal pencil drawings. All of his 14 creations for the House of Hermès are rare and highly sought after by collectors globally. This one, Les Biches, I believe was first issued in 1958. The title refers to hind deer or female, especially red deer after their 3rd year. The red deer, incidentally, is one of the largest deer species most often found in the Scottish Highlands as well as northwest and southern England. They are also, by the way, a protected species in the UK under the Deer Act of 1991. This vintage scarf is very hard to find, and when they do pop up, they fetch, unsurprisingly, some fairly high prices. This next one contains a lobster and a fish, which would have been among the seafood served at the Plymouth Thanksgiving. The design is called Gastronomie by Christiane Vauzelles. Its title translates to gastronomy, which of course is the art or science of good eating. And I'm sure you'll agree this is something we all aspire to throughout the holiday season. Just for fun, since there's a lobster in this design, one of the largest lobsters ever caught weighed a whopping 44 pounds and 6 ounces. For reference, that is more than average weight for a 5-year-old child. This enormous crustacean was caught in Nova Scotia in 1977, and according to the Maine Department of Marine Resources, it was around 100 years old. It was also released back into the ocean, in case you're interested. Anyways, I believe this Gastronomie design was first issued in 1961, and surprisingly, it is still possible to find this in the pre-loved market at not entirely unreasonable prices. And since turkey is now an ingrained part of more modern Thanksgiving traditions, I'll highlight this design, Flore et Faune du Texas, by Kermit Oliver, the first issued, I believe, in 1986. Fun fact, Oliver was also a U.S. Postal Service worker for 36 years, in fact, all the while pursuing his painting on the side. Although, according to interviews, he never believed he could make a living as a painter. But he is, in fact, a world-class artist and the first Black artist to be represented by a major gallery in Houston. As you can probably guess from its name, this design depicts the flora and fauna of Texas, the centerpiece of which is a large wild turkey. It was designed for the state's sesquicentennial or 150th anniversary. This is one of those designs whose prices vary wildly when they do crop up in the pre-loved market. If this is a wish list item for you, I would say that if you're willing to be patient, you can probably find something at a relatively reasonable price. Before I get into the other scarves I've selected, I want to highlight the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, also known as the people of the First Light, who have inhabited present-day Massachusetts and eastern Rhode Island for more than 12,000 years. None of the following scarves directly reference these people. Also bearing in mind that there are nearly 600 federally recognized Indian nations, which are undoubtedly quite diverse, I've chosen the following Hermès scarf examples as a thematic grouping more than anything else. This scarf, designed in 1984, was Kermit Oliver's first scarf for the house. The portrait is a tribute to the Pawnee, a tribe of the Nebraska and Kansas plains that was forced into exile in the Indian Territory of Oklahoma at the end of the 19th century. Sumptuously dressed, Pani la Shar Pawnee holds a sculpted peace pipe featuring a galloping horse. His calm gaze and proud bearing express the great dignity of his people. Peace pipes and bison heads decorate the corners of this composition, around which run horses and their riders, inspired by Carl Bodmer's notebooks. The work of this 19th century illustrator remains a precious record of Native American culture. According to company lore, Jean-Louis Dumas, the Hermès CEO at the time, loved driving across the United States. And on one trip, while visiting Texas, he encountered a painter whose work was so bold but simple, so impressive in its portrayal of animals, that Dumas immediately commissioned a scarf design. This design, Pani la Shar Pawnee, which has since been reissued several times and always sold out. It was most recently reissued as a double-faced scarf with a colorful side and the other given a bandana treatment. It may even still be possible to get that one in boutiques. And because it's been reissued multiple times in different formats, 45, 70, 90, 140, and even a Twilly, it is possible to find the design regularly in the secondary market at not unreasonable prices. This next one is also by Kermit Oliver. First issued, I believe, in 1992, the design has since been reissued in multiple formats, including 90, 140, and wash. Kachinas are ceremonial wooden dolls given to Hopi children to familiarize them with their ancestral beliefs and rituals. The Hopi are a Pueblo Indian tribe who live in the southwestern part of the United States, and their name means the peaceful people. The dolls represent spiritual beings, ancestors, clouds, gods of rain or fire, benevolent or mischievous spirits, which play a role in religious ceremonies for boys from the age of 6 during their initiation. This was issued most recently in a wash format. and other formats do appear regularly in the secondary market, but their prices vary wildly, and it doesn't seem to be condition dependent either. So I would say that if this is on your radar, you can probably get something pretty reasonable if you're willing to be patient. This next one is by Antoine Tzapoff, a Parisian-born artist who started his painting career concentrating on his favorite subject, the native peoples of North America. It was because of these portraits of American Indians that he caught the eye of Pierre-Alexis Dumas, who asked him to design something for the house. Tzapoff submitted a stunning portrait of an Apache warrior. Pierre-Alexis fell in love with a painting called Cosmogonie Apache and sent it to Lyon to have it transformed into a scarf. When the painting arrived at Marcel Gandy, the 70-year-old silk engraving company owned by Hermès since 2004, an engraving artisan named Nadine Rabillot, who at the time had worked there for 33 years, studied it for 2 days to figure out how to tackle it. Eventually, she identified 80 colors, then edited it down to 60, and then to 45, the preferred maximum for the Hermès silk printing process. There are 15 colors for the face alone. She then reproduced the face by hand on 90 by 90 centimeter plastic slides with a fountain pen and India ink, while 2 colleagues worked on the background and border. Altogether, the trio would spend 2,000 hours reconstructing the painting as a drawing before it could be turned into silkscreens. Incidentally, Cosmogonie Apache, with its 45 color passes, at 15 to 20 minutes each, took approximately 15 hours to print one scarf. Think about that. This is one I have seen pop up occasionally in the secondary market, usually also at quite a steep premium, and understandably so. So there you have it. A bit about this holiday's background and some collectible Hermès scarves aligned with these themes. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and let me know what you think in the comments. In future episodes, I'll share other scarf reviews, not tutorials, and more, so be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time!